Hello and welcome to Project 5P. I just got through pulling some ice cream sandwiches out of the freeze dryer, and it got me to thinking, first of all, if you haven't tried freeze-dried ice cream sandwiches, I highly recommend it because they are delicious. And I'm not even much of a sweet eater, but they're good stuff. But it brought me to thinking about something that I believe very strongly in, and that is thriving rather than just surviving. And in this particular situation, what brought that to mind is, in a SHTF scenario or whatever catastrophe might hit, I don't know about you, but I don't want to just be barely scraping by, right? That's the reason we prepare, right? Is to try to maintain some level of normalcy when situations and circumstances outside of our control eliminate many aspects of normal, what we're used to as normal life, right? So, I mean, when those types of situations hit, I don't know about you, but I don't want to live on beans and rice. Sure, I could if I wanted to, but, or if I needed to, I should say, but I don't want to. I would like to have something else in there, and that doesn't necessarily have to be ice cream sandwiches. Like I said, I'm not much of a sweet eater, but the point I'm trying to make is don't underestimate, don't overlook the power of morale items, comfort items, whether that's food or other items. But don't overlook the importance of that, because in those hard times, in those if the S were to hit the F type scenarios, life is going to be hard enough. It's going to be stressful. It's going to be a psychological strain. It's going to be a mental, emotional, spiritual strain. And you need to we're planning to mitigate the damages of all those strains, is the purpose of preparedness, right? So that's the whole reason. That's one of the reasons why we advocate for, packing a toy or a stuffed animal or a game or candy or all the above in your bug out bag for your children, or in their bug out bag if their age is permissible of that, is because you want those items that will be of psychological and mental and emotional help as well, other than just maintaining physical life. What's the point of surviving, living in those scenarios if you're curled up in the fetal position living on 500 calories a day and you can't do anything and you're not enjoying life, right? Now, caveat, I'm not saying that you should go out and buy caseloads of freeze-dried ice cream sandwiches. That's not what I'm saying. But as your preparedness reaches certain levels, and as you increase those levels and those stockpiles of different items, I would highly encourage you to start thinking more heavily about those comfort items, those morale type items that will help you get through those times more comfortably, right? I mean, it's the same reason why we pack, why we store and stock up on, let's say, lighters. If the power went out and I needed to stay warm with a fire, I needed to cook on a fire, could I make a friction fire with sticks? Sure. Or, leaves and a magnifying glass, or, different things like that. Sure. But it would be a lot easier with a lighter, right? It'd be a lot easier with some matches. So it's good to have those skills. And I'm a big advocate for having those skills in situations where you don't have the ability to, in this instance, start a fire with a match or a lighter. But why would you take that route if you don't have to? It's much easier, much simpler. It's going to make your life much simpler. If you can just stock a lighter, just keep a lighter with you, right? Again, we're trying to maintain normalcy in these situations when the world reaches you know, or your personal life, maybe not the whole world, but your personal life, you face these situations that have robbed so much of your normalcy already as it is. But again, having said that, first things first, of course, first priority is to survive, right? Like I said, don't go out there stocking up on, you know, cases of freeze-dried ice cream sandwiches, or cases of freeze-dry, you know, you're starting to stock up on filet mignon and salmon and caviar and whatever else, right? Because, well, P said I should, you know, I'm trying to thrive and not just survive. Hear me out, right? You need to survive first. You can't thrive unless you're alive. So those staples, those dried goods that we talk so much about, rice, beans, corn, wheat, pastas, stuff like that, obviously that should be the foundation of your preparedness items as far as food is concerned. But as you build that up, maybe, you know, one treat meal or one treat for every 30-day supply, or whatever those benchmarks are. Set yourself benchmarks and factor in, start to build in those comfort and morale items, right? Because, as I said, and I take this approach with every aspect of my life. The same thing with why I'm so heavy into fitness. I don't want to just be alive in those scenarios. I don't want to just, well, I'm alive, my heart's beating. That's one thing. But to be able to thrive, to be able to actually enjoy life to the fullest, to be able to, especially in my case, Project 5P, some of those P's are to provide, to protect, right? My family. I can't properly provide for them or protect them if I'm bare bones, barely surviving myself. Yeah, I'm alive. Yes, I've maintained life with my quote unquote beans and rice or whatever the case may be, but I don't want to just survive. I don't want to just be alive. I need to be at the top of my game so that I can perpetuate that same normalcy to my family. I don't want to see my wife and kids barely hanging on to life and be like, well, I'm providing for them. No, I need to thrive and be at the top as much as possible, the top of my game when it comes to my health and well-being, so that I can provide that for my family as well. I don't want to see my wife and children curled up in the fetal position and in an SHTF scenario and just so starving, and, well, you know, here's your small rations of rice that just to keep you alive. And if you're in the beginning stages of preparedness, don't get discouraged. You know, I'm not saying that, like I said, start where you're at. Surviving is step one, you know, and if you're just in the beginning stages of preparedness, don't get discouraged by what I'm saying, and don't think that, well, that if my family isn't, you know, gorging themselves on you know, these great meals, that I'm not doing my job. You are, right? But what I'm saying is, once you reach certain milestones, start to factor in those things, and your goal should be aiming to thrive and not just survive in those scenarios. While everybody else is busting their butt and barely able to make a fire because they didn't prepare, or they're trying to rub two sticks together, you're over there with your lighter, right? While everybody else's morale and psychologically, they're at their wits' end because they've been living on beans and rice for 6 months. You'd be surprised what it can do. Well, you just had an ice cream sandwich, right? A freeze-dried ice cream sandwich, or your kids did, or your other kids are, you know, losing their mind, going crazy. Your kids have whatever it is in their bug out bag. They have a candy or a game, or these different, like I said, morale items, comfort items. Don't underestimate the power of those, and give good thought to them, because they can go a long way. And aim to thrive, not just survive. All right? Get after it.